Of course, they say that absolute power corrupts. That
Sure.
is true.
Yeah.
But it depends on mindset and conviction, and it depends on the people involved.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of the PV Show, and it's Fuel for the Future. We really appreciate your time. If you haven't subscribed to the show, we encourage you to kindly click on the subscription button to subscribe to the show.
So,
Thank you so much for joining us. We are so grateful. So we'll actually take your name and then your position or title.
okay, so my name is Ernest Kwame Efum. Yeah, you can call me Dr. Efum or you can call me Dr. Ike.
Okay.
Either way is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a lecturer. I'm a lecturer in the Department of Management Studies in the University of Mines and Technology in the Golden City, Takwa.
Wow, then I'm sure we can count for a lot of gold from you.
Yeah, maybe if you don't know, but anyone who knows that we are the real Yeti Sikaso.
Okay. Then I'll be coming there very soon for mine. Now we've gone through the election year. Everything is set. Our president elect is on seat now. He has reported to office few days ago. Now that we know that it's actually the beginning of a new era in parliament, what should Ghanaians actually watch out for?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to also extend my congratulations to our president, our new president, in the person of President John Dramani Mahama, and our vice president, the professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, and all the team we led. We wish them a very big congratulations, and also we wish them very well. We know governance is not very easy, but with the system that is in place, and as Ghana, we love to pray, we will be supporting them in prayer so that they will succeed. And in particular, as we also have a very landslide parliament arrangement, I think that it's a good thing so that whatever programs and policies the president and his team want to execute, which will be in the best interest of Ghanaians, they will be able to achieve it. I can sometimes imagine the stress that the government of Nana Akufo-Addo went through because it was a hung parliament. And so even if they had any good intention to do some things and the opposition didn't support them, it became very difficult. But with what we have now, we pray that all the good intentions of our president and his cabinet will be executed for the benefit of all of us.
Amen. Okay, so thank you very much. Now that is actually the beginning of a new era, what should Ghanaians actually watch out for?
Well, a number of things. First is to remind ourselves of the basis upon which we voted for our parliamentarians. I think some parliamentarians do make mistake because they are not the development agents in the various constituencies. They are kind of facilitators in the sense that the position that they have, they can lobby for things to be done in their constituencies. But within the campaign era, we hear a lot of them promising they are going to do a lot of development projects. And sometimes that can be very risky. But generally, in terms of governance, we should go back to the manifestos that were read to us, particularly the government in power now, and look out for the things that the government promised, the regime promised to do. And so we'll keep reminding them that this is what you said you would do for us. That is the only way we can measure their success or failure. I have been arguing that if I campaign, for example, on the basis that I am going to supply football to every school, and you campaign on the basis that you are going to supply, let's say, table tennis board to every school. If you are the government in power and you start the project of instituting or supplying table tennis board to every school, and you are not able to complete, when I come in, my success or failure should not be based on whether I'm able to complete your project or not. It should be on the basis of the things that I said I'm going to do, because I know you voted for me on the basis of the things I said I'm going to do. Okay. Now, the risk in that is the fact that because we don't have a national, let me say, a generally agreed national development plan to do anything. You only have to judge them by what they said in their manifesto. So that is where most of us should be looking at.
All right, thank you very much. So then, what specific changes in Parliament actually mark the beginning of this new era, and what are the significance for Ghanaian governance?
Okay, so they say that the only constant thing in life is change. So change is inevitable, right? And we have seen that power changes hands. MPP had power just some few weeks ago, and now the power has shifted to NDC, right? Yeah. Now, with the kind of parliament we have never had this before. So things are quite new. Although some of the people there are old, the system by which parliament is going to operate now is new. And so I would expect that our speaker will play a very unique role. Although he belongs to the ruling party, he still has a mandate so that it is not seen to be a kind of rubber stamp, but rather with the experiences, the knowledge that he has had all over the years, and personal conviction, he'll be able to drive and direct activities of parliament for us to see growth and progress in our country.
All right, thank you very much, Doc. Just a follow-up question. You made mention that this kind of parliament we have now, we've never had it before. Should it be something Ghanaians should be worried about?
No, I don't think we should be worried, in the sense that, for me, right, if our president fails in any way based on the things that he has said he's going to do, if there happens to be any failure on his part, I don't think that he can blame that failure on anybody, especially when it comes to internal affairs. I should put that, because a lot of external factors also play a role. We saw under President Akufo-Addo, there was COVID, there was Russia, Ukraine, and all of that. Those are things that we cannot look away from. So in every regime, there are external forces that are likely to affect the internal arrangement. However, if it comes to the internal system, then if there is any failure on the part of our president, I think that we can put all the blame on him, because he has a very strong majority in parliament to help him execute his agenda based on what he had said to be, that we should rather celebrate it and encourage the participants and the players to use it positively.
Thank you very much. Another follow-up question here. We happen to hear people say that since the majority is more in parliament, there is danger because majority can decide to say that, okay, since minority is not around or we don't have a number of them available, we can take decisions on our own. What's your take on this? A lot of Ghanaians are passing comments like that, and so we want to get your take on this.
Yes, but I don't think that if you want to do something good for us as a country, I don't think that you need everybody to agree before you do that good thing. Of course, the smaller majority can also be an evil for something good. And the majority can also be an evil for something good. Either way, it works. So it's about the intentions of the leader, and that is the president. That is why I said that if the president has a good intention for the country upon which he campaigned, then with the kind of parliament that we have, there will be no resistance to the good things that he wants to do, unless it tends to be otherwise, which we don't and we don't expect it to be. And that is why we have to support in prayer, and we have to also keep reminding them of the things that they said they are going to do.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm sure there.
Personally, personally, I don't seem to be negative at all.
Okay. Okay. I'm
Of
sure.
course, they say that absolute power corrupts.
Sure.
That is true.
Yeah.
But it depends on mindset and conviction, and it depends on the people involved. They can use the power positively to do great and amazing things for the country.
Wow, thank you so much. So, dear audience, there is a saying that absolute power actually corrupt, but Doctor is actually reminding us that it's just based on the kind of mindset we have. So, the fact that we are having the majority carrying the highest, let me say, number in Parliament doesn't mean that things may go upside down. All right, thank you, Doc. So we will go to the next question we have here. What key pieces of legislation should Ghanaians pay close attention to in the upcoming parliamentary sessions, and why are they actually important?
Okay, so we have to maybe first look at the demographic groups that we have in the country. Different groups have different interests. What I have seen with us, and I remember confronting one of my colleagues when we were in school about the policy, because at that time it was the government that he didn't like, and he was complaining. So I asked him that in his field, because he is supposed to be in the health services field. So I asked him, are you aware of the policies concerning your own field? And now he was dumbfounded. He had nothing to say. I said, that is exactly the problem. Every government brings a lot of policies to help to support different groups, like youths, like women, like children, workers, and all of that, entrepreneurs. Every government tries to do something like that. Unfortunately, we are blinded by our parochial interests and extremely partisan political interests. As a result, we are not able to fish out for the right policies which are going to benefit us. By the way, my definition of politics is, interests. It's about interest, okay? Making choices that will benefit some particular groups. So we have to look out for the policies that are going to benefit us wherever you find yourself. So as somebody working in the government organization, in the university, I should look out for policies that are going to help me to do my work better, and that are going to help me to also make more money. So every sector, there are a number of policies that are going to arise. And so we have to keep our eye on the policies, not the politics.
We have to keep our eyes on the policies, not the politics. Wow, that's very deep. Okay, so we actually happen to see gender balance in our politics this time around, where for the first time in history we have a woman as the vice president of Ghana. Now, how can the current parliament improve gender representation, and then what impact could this have on policy making and then national development as well?
The discussion on gender and inclusivity and diversity, equity and equality has come to stay. We agree to that. But when it comes to parliament, you realize that parliament is like an end in itself. It's an end and it's a means to an end. Let me put it that way. It's an end because now the people are already there. The people who are there started from somewhere. So if we want to see a kind of gender balance in parliament, then we should start from the political parties. Because that's where the whole activity starts. So we have to encourage the political parties probably to be deliberate about the issue of gender balance and equity and inclusion. They should be deliberate about it. What Parliament could probably do would be to promote one, and also to enact some bills that will kind of tie the hands of certain institutions and agencies. Let me give an example. When you come into education, into academia, we know there is what they call the affirmative action. And it's working very well. This was started so many years ago. It's still in force, right? To push a lot of ladies to go up. And a lot of ladies have gone through the window of affirmative action. Apart from encouraging various state institutions, particularly the political parties, because politics is what kind of dictates every other thing that happens in the economy. So once we encourage the political parties to take the issue of gender balance seriously, it's going to go all the way up to a point where probably in the near future or foreseeable future, we are going to have a woman president, possibly, right? So one, parliament should encourage. Number two, I was saying that parliament can use laws. Just like we have this issue of affirmative action, which is working very well in education, Parliament can also establish certain laws that will kind of require certain public organizations and state agencies to ensure that a certain percentage is reserved for women, and not just for women, for also people who are physically challenged. They could also get certain portions of various activities or positions in the country.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so we'll go straight to, in what ways can Ghanaians become more involved in legislation process, and then what role does civil society play in holding parliament accountable? This particular question is very, very important.
Okay. So first of all, the members of parliament are our representatives. So we have to always keep that in mind. And sometimes we forget. So it's like they kind of become our lords, but actually they are our representatives. And that's the first thing that we should pay attention to. Number one, everything that goes on in parliament is open to the public, right? It's open. That's why they even have the public gallery, where you can just go in there and sit there and observe whatever is going on. So at least being there is also participative enough. But when it comes to the core business of parliament, that is enactment of laws, every law goes through a very long process before it becomes a law. And that is where we should pay attention. You see, when the issue of the LGBT law legislation came up, you see that there were several groups and agencies in the country that made input. You see, because of the LGBT, that's why. But every other law that Parliament makes is also open to the public. And so we should pay attention, especially if there is a bill that goes to Parliament and is affecting your sector. Don't sit aloof. You can write a paper and send to Parliament. They will consider it. You can decide to go and meet the committee and share your views. They will listen to you. And these are things that they do. I'm yet to see a place where the member of Parliament will come and have, let's say, a town hall meeting to solicit the views of their people on matters that they will go and talk about. But in case any parliamentarian does that, then I will encourage the people in the area not to sit aloof. They have to participate. And when they go, they have to speak, not just becoming yes men. Everything they say, yeah, because usually it's the party people who will go and be there and they will make a lot of noise, and which will affect the kind of thing, that outcome that we want. But let us all pay attention to everything that is going on in Parliament and then make our voices or concerns heard. Otherwise, they will make laws and then we will now turn back and start complaining that these are bad laws and all of that.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. So to our dear audience, Doc is actually encouraging us to pay attention to whatever goes on in Parliament, so that tomorrow we won't come and say that maybe the things that we want to see happening is not happening. If there are issues, we should speak up. All right, so we'll go straight to issues concerning corruption. Anytime there is change of government, we have issues of corruption here and there. You hear people complain that MPP is this, NDC is that. Any other, I'm sure if we have another political party coming to power, we'll still have issues like that about corruption. Now, what can we do, or what measures should Parliament, let me say, prioritize? Okay, let me rather take it in this way. What measures should Parliament prioritize to combat corruption and promote transparency and accountability in governance? Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, the issue of corruption, if you look at the way we talk about it in Ghana, it looks like corruption is becoming the best campaign message for the political parties to win election. Because once President Mahama fills the vacancies that he wants to fill for various positions, the opposition will start lamenting about corruption. They will start lamenting about corruption, and they will trumpet it till the point that Ghanaians will buy into it and we all become angry against the ruling class or the ruling party, right? Now, it doesn't mean that there is no corruption. I cannot say for a fact. But we know that for every human institutions, there are likely going to be some corrupt elements in there. But we cannot say that the whole system is corrupt. If the whole system is corrupt, then it's like things fall apart. The center cannot hold. What else can we do, right? Okay, now, my challenge and my concern, in December, I put out a number of posts or quotes on my WhatsApp status. And I was asking how we can use corrupt laws to prosecute corruption. Some of the laws are corrupt. How can we use a corrupt law to prosecute corruption? Let me give you an example. You see, if I go to the market to buy this bottle of water, I'll buy it for maybe 2 cedis or 2.5 Ghana cedi. Now, if a state agency wants to buy this same water and they have to go through the procurement, at the end of the day, they are likely to buy this water for about 7 cedis or for 750 pesos. And that's what is happening. So the law itself kind of is creating a waste That's why I put out that code that how can we use a corrupt law to prosecute corruption? But the law is kind of making way for people to engage in corruption. I wouldn't use my money to go and buy this water for 7 cedis. I even want to bargain and bring it down. But rather, that is not what we see. And the people are following the law. I'm not blaming the people, I'm blaming the law. Right now, with the new government, we have heard about the oral team, right? My challenge is that at the end of the day, the oral team might find something very little compared to the noise that we have heard about it and the publicity we have heard about it. They might find something very little. Do you know why? Because it's almost like it is a foolish politician who will be arrested for corruption. It is almost a foolish politician who will be arrested for corruption. And again, I will explain. So this water, right? If the market price is 2.5, and I go through the law and I decide to buy this for 15 cedis, when the auditor comes, they are going to check the receipt. Did it go through the right procedure? Yes. Do you have receipt to cover? Yes. Does it have the authorization? Yes. If everything is yes, now who are you going to arrest for corruption?
Nobody.
Because there are documents, the procedure, everything is clear. But we know that this thing is not supposed to be 5 Ghana cedi. But at the end of the day, we go and buy it for that much. So now it is a foolish politician who will be arrested for corruption. It means that person is naive. He doesn't know what is going on down there. And that is a challenge. So probably we need to rethink and we need to rediscuss the whole thing of corruption, because now it's another level. It's a whole new level. Since President Akufo-Addo came, how many people did they arrest for corruption? But they were making a lot of noise about corruption.
That's true.
And we heard them taking a lot of people to the court. How many people did they arrest for corruption? That should tell us that it is not the noise that makes people corrupt. If you go, the evidence, at the end of the day, is the evidence. And what is evidence? And where is the evidence? The evidence is that the thing went through the process. The authorization is clear. The approval is clear. There are documents covering the transaction. Who will you arrest? You will virtually not arrest anyone. So what we have to insist is this declaration of assets. That is what we have to insist on. Declaration of assets. So that we will check what you brought in. And when you are going out, we can check what you are taking out. Because for those who are going out now, who is going to check what they brought in and what they are taking out? Meanwhile, we have heard in the last 8 years, one person building 20 apartments. To even build 1 bedroom, how much does it cost for somebody to build 20 apartments? But at the end of the day, you will not arrest anybody. So maybe we have to now shift our attention from just talking about corruption to now talk about the declaration of assets and make it very stringent. If you don't declare your asset, you should not be approved by Parliament to take over a certain office. Probably that will scare people to be mindful when they are dealing with the public purse. Now, I'll talk about one more thing, which I call it double leakage. In my view, when somebody is engaged in double leakage, probably we should take the person to the firing squad and shoot the person. Now, public double leakage in terms of corruption, I explain it to be that, you see, even when you steal, let me put it that way, when you steal public funds, and let's say that you use it to open a business in the country, other people are going to get jobs to do, they will benefit. But if you steal the money and you send it out of the country, we are not going to benefit. That's what I call double leakage.
Okay.
The first leakage is taken from government purse. The second leakage is taken from the country. In that case, we have lost twice.
Wow.
And when such people, when we arrest them, I think that we should take them to the firing squad
Wow.
Excuse me if that is too harsh, but I think that such people they have criminal mentality, and so we have to deal with them like how we deal with the criminals.
Wow.
All right, so thank you so much, Doc. One thing that Doc made mention of that we all need to really pay attention to, he said if we can fight corruption, or if we'll be able to fight corruption, that we need to pay attention to what we call declaration of assets, right? And if any of our politicians are coming into power, we need to find out what they brought in, and when they are leaving as well, we need to know what they are taking out, and that can help us fight corruption. Thank you, dear audience, for making time to join Doc here on this program today. It's been an honor. We've been talking about the new parliament and also this new era, what we should be looking out for. And Doc has actually helped us to outline the things we need to really look out for. Thank you so much for your time, Doc. We are sure that we'll be bringing you back on the show another time. Thank you so much.